That reminds me of an individual we know who asked for guidance on getting a new vehicle because his current vehicle, well, the vehicle he had at the time was not performing the way he wanted it to. And so he called my husband asking for guidance. And my husband, he relayed exactly what the information was that the gentleman was supposed to look for when going to purchase a new vehicle.
For him to know when.
For him to know, especially when he was supposed to get the new vehicle. And he ended up getting the new vehicle. And you want to take over the story from there? Because
no, he was impatient, is what it was. Because sometimes when you get guidance, it's based on situations. You know, if you remember one time when we went to buy a car, it was the SUV, the Honda SUV. Remember that? Well, all of a sudden I told you, no, I'm being pulled this way. And the guy was showing us one vehicle.
Right.
I told him, no, my left.
We should go over
We should go over there, right. And then we got over there and we looked at the vehicle. And then we looked at the price. We said, no, that's too high. I told the guy, and they dropped it right about to the price that we were supposed to buy a vehicle for. And that's how we knew that's the vehicle we were supposed to get.
Right.
So sometimes it happens that way. Okay. So he was given certain conditions. Look for these conditions. When these conditions happen, it's time for you to get your vehicle. I think over a year went by. It's been a while. Maybe. I think maybe over a year.
My husband is not very good with time frames.
Right. But he would call and say, is it time yet? I feel like I should get a car. My car's falling apart. I said, if the Ascended Masters gave you certain conditions, you should wait for those conditions to be met. He said, but my car is giving trouble. I said, your car will be fine. If they told you these certain conditions should be met first, don't worry about your car, you'll be fine. Understandably enough, because I can understand that, he ran out of patience and didn't hear from him for a while. And later on I found out he bought a car, or he got a car. And then later on we found out that the car is just sitting in the garage for the most part because he's too busy traveling with his job.
He's not using the car.
And so
it's one expensive investment.
Exactly. And he knows, we joke about that. He knows that, but he loves his car, that's the car he wanted. It's like his baby, he said. I think he even gave it a name, if I remember right.
I think he did, yes.
Right. But he hardly uses it. So here he is making this large monthly payment, but hardly using the car. That's a great example of where you feel that you deserve something, and the Ascended Masters feel it's not time yet. The time is not yet. Not that you won't get it, but there's a time, right? Balance is karma first, and that's how it goes. Everything has to do with karma. As soon as the karma is balanced, then bang, situation is right, and then everything moves quickly. It's like us. We were told 5 years before we moved that we were going to move, right?
Yes.
We didn't know when. We were just told, you'll be moving. You'll be getting a new house. And
the same thing, moving soon.
Exactly.
Well, what is soon?
And sometimes they're very specific. Right? We've seen where with individuals that tell them 2 years, 1 year, 6 months.
Yes.
In our case, we're just told soon. And it's hard to follow guidance. A lot of people won't follow guidance like that because they want things to be specific.
Right.
And we just waited. And then all of a sudden one day we knew it was time to go. And within a week, we had to, we had already started packing stuff anyway, because we knew we were going to move.
Right, and we just knew within.
Now when the time came, we'd be gone.
Exactly.
And that's what happened. And that's the way guidance goes, so you just have to, not have to, but it's important to know that when you get guidance, it's based on a karma, and as soon as that karma is balanced, it's like the gates just fall and you can walk through. They're castles, right? Then they would have the gate. They have the river there, and then the gate comes down. Right. So the moat is up.
The gate for the moat is up. It's called a moat.
The gate.
Not
Okay.
a river.
So the gate is up, and you're on the other side. They said you can come into the castle, but it's not time yet, so you have to wait on the other side. And you can decide to try to swim.
And they usually have.
That's not very
all
wise.
kinds of nasty
Crocodiles
creatures
and stuff.
and things.
Exactly, right? And so, but all of a sudden, later on, they say, okay, it's time, and they lower
the drawbridge.
The drawbridge, and then you walk across. It's something similar to that. But if you rush it, the crocodiles can eat you. Right? It could be an unpleasant experience. You can go and buy a house when you're told not to buy a house yet. And then all of a sudden, there are all kinds of challenges with the house. or you're told, I've seen this one where somebody wants to date somebody and they're told, well, that's not the wisest idea, not that individual, and they're like, well, but I love this person. Okay, go ahead. And all of a sudden, it's the toughest relationship they've ever been in, all because they decided, I'm not going to follow that. I have my own ideas.
We've even seen ones where an individual was getting very impatient at their job, and
we've seen a few of those.
We've seen several of them actually, but they're on the job and they're like, oh, I don't like it here. I want to move. I want to change. I want higher income. Right. And the guidance was always, you have karma to balance there. Continue doing what you're doing, and you'll balance the karma, and you'll know when it's time to move on. Some individuals, they waited and they knew when it was time to move on. Others,
it's very clear.
They
literally tell you, leave. Right?
They get a nice promotion or something. But then there are the individuals who choose to just kind of, as the term goes, jump the gun, and they move on before they're supposed to, and then they get to the next job, which is giving them more money, and it's been a better area, whatever it might be. They think the conditions are better, but then all of a sudden they call us and they're having the exact same challenges with the people at this new job that they were having at the old job.
Or worse. Normally it gets worse, right? Because it's magnified. And that's a good point, that there are times when we feel it's best. And we always think that because we look at it from the human being standpoint.
Right.
Why would we be thinking about, why do I want to stay here? I feel miserable, right? Mm-hmm. And that's because we forget that we're there for a reason. Balance karma.
Right.
So folks, just focus on balancing the karma. That's all. And as you balance karma, things will improve. And once things have improved, see, this is where it's counterproductive or counterintuitive. Mm-hmm. Because once it improves, things have gotten way better. Now it's time to leave. And that's when people say, well, why do you want to leave then? It's much better then.
Right.
Well, you've balanced your karma. Mm-hmm. And it's time to move on to the next challenge. And it's always a better one. Mm-hmm. But if you leave before that's done, you're absolutely right. Karma is meant to be balanced. So if you don't balance it, it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to experience it again. And in many cases, it intensifies. Mm-hmm. So it will continue going. That's why just hang in there, get it done with, and let them tell you when it's done. When say, okay, you want to leave now? Or who knows how it goes, right? Mm-hmm. And we've seen cases where you might be on a job and then you're told just balance your karma. And then what happens? The boss leaves. The one that you didn't get along with, that person leaves. All of a sudden, you get promoted, mm-hmm. and you stay on the job, but now it's much better because the person that was giving you trouble left. Well, right. When they leave, that means that you've balanced karma with them. They're gone. Mm-hmm. But at least you don't have to worry about meeting them again and balancing more karma. It's done with.
Right.
So our key in life is to balance karma. And we do that every way we can, right? Mm-hmm. And then to the last part to that question is, so what do you do then? Do you just not do anything and just wait because you know it doesn't make sense to do anything, because if it doesn't work out, then you know you didn't follow? How do you go? You didn't balance your karma? Mm-hmm. No. I always tell individuals, you should set your goals and work towards your goals, right? Mm-hmm. Because you don't know what your purpose is here on earth. So what do? You trust that whatever it is you're working towards is your purpose. Mm-hmm. However, keep in mind, and this is the important part, keep in mind that it might not be, right? So be open to the fact that you could be going down the wrong path. So, but give it 100%, just in case you're right. Mm-hmm. But then if you're not right, you'll get the guidance. All of a sudden you'll be told, well, you'll feel like, okay, I should go this way and go that way. Mm-hmm. Don't argue with it. Don't say, I've put in so much time and effort into this now, I'm not going to leave this. Like some people see it as quitting. But once you get guidance, you're not quitting. You're taking that turn. You're moving on. You're going towards your purpose. Mm-hmm. You know, so yes, set your guide, set your goals and go after them 100%. But just know that something can happen where that could change, and you should be ready to just make the switch. Mm-hmm. Don't fight it. And that's the secret to me. To me, that's the secret. Don't fight it. Just go for it. Don't just sit there and say, well, I don't know what it is, so what's the use? No, you're co-creator, so go for it. Mm-hmm. Knowing that there's a possibility that it could change.
Yes. And I know for me, years ago, at least 10 years ago, I was told by Mother Mary when she came through one time that I should always follow my intuition and always take the path of least resistance, even though there may be challenges on that path. Because that's...
Sounds like you're lazy.
I know it sounds
Path
like
of
I'm
least
lazy,
resistance.
but what she was meaning was that go through what it is you're going through, but things will open up for you.
So why not go through the path with the most resistance?
Because that's basically telling you there's so much there, you need to stop and turn around and reevaluate this. But for instance, like on the job, yes, you might have these little challenges, these struggles, but things will always, there will always be something there that will show you that you should still be there. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but that was my understanding of the whole message I got.
Okay, if that's all right, I don't know, but
Because I was told, even though, like for example with the job, you might love your job, but it's the people, the management that you don't get along with. But you're excellent at your job. People are always giving you accolades about your job and how wonderful the work is that you do. Just, that's where you're supposed to be. That comes easy to you.
okay, that's what you're saying.
The other part will be taken
That's-
care of.
So when you say least resistance, you don't mean like don't say avoid the hardest challenges. That's
No,
that's
you
what
don't
you're saying.
avoid them.
Okay. What you're saying is that you're there, and then these guys giving you all kinds of trouble. Well, don't put your energy there. Focus on what you're good at.
What you're good, what
Okay.
comes to you easily.
That makes sense now.
Right.
Yeah, because they tell you, all the Zen masters say that life is not meant to be a struggle, right? And if there is a struggle, it means that we're doing something we're not supposed to.
Right.
All right, there'll be little struggles, but not major struggles. So that answers that.
Okay. I think we've answered all the questions.
Oh,
Looking at this, we have. So if you've liked the answers here and want to share this with someone else, please feel free to do so. Subscribe, like, and if you have more comments or more questions or something you want clarification on, please be sure to send us your requests and we'll make another video for you.